Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Investigative Titbits and unraveling complexities. And of course, we're going to bring you some important stories. Yes, we'll be talking to an expert in this field. Yes, we have our guest with us. I'm sure she's ready for us. All right, so today we're diving into the world of the Public Complaints Commission, also known as the PCC. So, the Public Complaints Commission is a machinery for the control of administrative excesses. It's also an organ set up by the government to control and redress complaints lodged by aggrieved citizens or residents in Nigeria against administrative injustice. I am your host, Miracle Obi. Joining me in the studio today is Miss Amaka Anyao Esquire from the legal unit of the Public Complaints Commission. I'm so excited to have you today, Ma. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone.
All right, so today we're going to have our topic is quite an interesting one. And then, of course, when you have someone from the legal department or the legal unit, you already know what our case is going to be about today. All right, so Mar, could you briefly explain administrative procedure in the court of law?
Okay. Administrative procedure on its own, it's a set of rules, that helps to govern the way people do their activities. Okay. Well, when it comes to a court of law, just like every other organization, they have their administrative arms. It's not everybody who is a lawyer or a judge, okay? So this administrative arms deals with running the administrative processes of the court. It doesn't do any legal functions like the lawyers or the judges. You could have let's say the court clerks, the registrars, the sheriffs of the court. All these are part of the administrative arms of the court. And so the rules guide them on how to do their own job as part of the court.
Okay. Yeah. And so, as you all know, investigative tidbits, we go into resolved cases or ongoing case. And our case today is an interesting one. But before we dive into our case for today, we would really want to know what the Commission Legal Unit is all about. What is PCC Legal Unit all about? It would help us as we dive into the case for today.
Okay. The Public Complaints Commission, as you know, is the Nigerian Ombudsman, and it has a legal unit, a legal department like every other government agency. And basically what we do is to ensure that the commission itself, works according to its mandate, its laws. We help the commission to probably review laws, review cases, review contracts. We draft them too. We draft documents. We vet them when they send them in. Maybe other organizations send in documents for us. Okay. Documents, we vet them. We also ensure that the commission itself, is compliant with any laws guiding it. Any rules, regulations, it has to obey. Okay. We also represented the commission in court when it has to come to court. Maybe somebody has instituted an action against us, and we have to go defend ourselves.
Okay.
So these and many other things that we are assigned to do. But all we do basically is to ensure that we're working according to law.
Okay.
We give advices. We vet documents. We go to courts when it's necessary. Absolutely, when it's necessary.
All right, that's an interesting one. And you all know that unit is actually a very sensitive department, a very sensitive unit. Okay, we're going to go on this very short break, and when we come back, we're going to dive right into our first case for today.
Dealing with complaints can be a real hassle, but it doesn't have to be. That's where the Public Complaints Commission comes in.
We're here to help you resolve any issues you may have with your business or organization. From handling customers' complaints to providing resolutions, we've got the tools and expertise to get the job done.
Don't just take our word for it. Contact us today at 097-000099 or visit our website at www.pcc.gov.ng to learn more about our services and how we can help you.
Public Complaints Commission, justice for all.
All right, welcome back from that short break. All right, so today we're going to dive right into our case. I'm going to read out the case. Okay, so our case, complaint on administrative procedure of court of law. The commission was in receipt of the representation bordering on administrative injustice in a court of law by one DJE. Having exhausted all efforts to address the anomaly through senior and distinguished lawyers, some of the rank of Senior Advocate of Nigeria (SAN) to no avail, but he reverted to the commission for redress. The Commission's team of investigators in the Public Sector Department brainstorming section with the Commission's legal unit discovered that the sheriff was not fully abreast with her responsibilities as enshrined in Order 34 of the Sheriff and Civil Process Act, Cap 56 LFN 2004. Therefore, she did not comprehend the judgment issued to on the document before the commission. Having realized the lacuna, the deputy sheriff of the State Magistrate Court was engaged in an educative section with the commission's team of investigators led by the head of legal unit. Having successfully convinced the deputy sheriff on her statutory functions as enshrined in the Order 34 of Sheriff and Civil Process Act, Cap 56 LFN 2004, the sheriff approached the judge that delivered the judgment, who also confirmed the position of the commission on the statutory responsibility of sheriff bailiff in respect to this matter. Consequently, the chief judge was consulted alongside chief registrar on this matter, and they assured the commission that the error would be corrected. The commission was informed on the intention of the magistrate court to release the vehicles to the complainant. In view of the issues raised by the commission's team of investigation officers regarding the Sheriff and Civil Process Act, the vehicle was graciously released to the complainant, having confirmed his ownership status through his vehicle particulars in the presence of the commission's representative. The case was a unique one in the sense that the commission's enabling art had been fully tested under the PCC Cap P37 LFN 2004 Section 53E, which proves that a commissioner shall be competent to investigate administrative procedure of any court of law in Nigeria. The commission was able to successfully wade into the matter that lasted for 14 to 16 months and got the matter resolved within 6 days of intervention. That's amazing. On this premise, the case was closed in the commission's record. This is really an amazing case, like a case that lasted for 14 to 16 months. When brought to the commission intervened in 6 days. That's amazing, Mrs. Omaka. Can you really explain, because I'm sure our listeners there really may not, some do, some may not really understand some of this section and some of this act. All right, so can you explain the PCC Cap P37 LFN 2004 Section 53E, which provides that a commissioner shall be competent to investigate administrative procedure of any court of law in Nigeria?
Thank you very much. Like you just read out, the section speaks for itself. Okay. Unlike Section 61 C that says the commissioner does not have a right to investigate any matter that is pending before the court of law.
Okay.
I explained from the beginning that administrative processes, or rather administrative arms of the court,
Okay.
they are not legal. Okay, so they are like the managerial or the arms for running the court,
Okay.
that separate from the legal department. Okay, so whatever he does that is violates, or causes administrative injustice, we can investigate it. That the commission can
That's when the
investigate it.
commission steps in.
Yes, that's where the commission steps in. But we
Okay.
cannot investigate a matter that is pending before a court of law. Yeah, because the judge knows what the judge is doing. So on this case right now, I want to explain that the section 53E, gives the commissioner the power, like our mandate says, to investigate any administrative process of any court of law in Nigeria. So where the staff of the court is making a mistake or has abused its right, abused his privilege as a worker, or maybe they did something, for instance, the reason why, in quotes, the commission was established was to stop corruption in the country. Okay, so if there's anything they are doing to promote corruption or to actually cause injustice to the citizens, we can come in. The commission can come in and address it.
Oh, wow. That's really, really impressive. That's really, really amazing. All right. Can you also provide an overview of this case? Because, I know we had a discussion outside, and at some point I was like, okay, I really cannot understand this case because it had to do with a lot of law and section. So can you provide an overview of this case?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The case lodged in by DJE, has to do with seizure of property that were attached to a case, and then was given as judgment. And what happened there was the fact that the man himself, probably was owing his landlord rent and couldn't pay. So his goods were FIFA'd. They were seized by the sheriff, and attached to the claim of the owner of the money, to a claim. And when judgment was given, he got judgment because he was able to clear off his debts and everything. And so now he has to come back, because that section 34 talks about interpleader. He has to come back, now coming as the plaintiff, saying, these properties belong to me and I want to take them back. I want to claim them back. So by the time he applies to the sheriff...
So that means his property was seized?
Seized, yes.
Yes, okay.
By the time he applies to the sheriff, then he gets judgment and he has his goods released to him. But on this case, he got the judgment, but the goods were not released. And that was where the problem started. And he was trying to use his lawyers, the SANS, to solve the case.
Exactly.
It's not as if they couldn't solve the case, okay? But for whatever reason, it wasn't resolved. But he was lucky enough to get to the commission. And by the time the commission heard it, the legal department swung into action. And we had to go to explain to, the sheriff. You can see we had a meeting with the senior sheriff, the deputy sheriff.
Yes.
Try to explain to them what their law says they should do. Because many of them are not lawyers. Like I said, these are administrative workers in court. Okay, so yes, we explained to the person what needed to be done, and the person did it. And then we also spoke to the commission also had a meeting with the judge and the magistrates and everybody who was involved in the matter, even the chief judge. And so that was how the man got his vehicles released to him.
Wow, amazing. I'm sure when I was reading, some of you really did not understand the line of the story. But right now, with your explanation, I'm sure our listeners really understand our story. They really understand our case. So would you tell us, how did the commission's team of investigators and legal unit, how did they work together to identify the lacuna in the sheriff's understanding of her responsibilities? So how did they work together, both the investigative department and...
That would take me to telling you the procedure, of resolving a case in Public Complaints Commission.
Okay.
And what happens is when the matter comes in, we have the file go through the director of investigation.
Okay.
And then she looks at it. And when she sees, for instance, this matter is purely legal, Okay, so she sends it to the director of legal, and director of legal now calls the ones under legal department to look at it. Like I said when you asked me earlier, what does the legal department do?
Yes,
We also do research. We do investigations too.
Oh, really?
So yes, and this is where we collaborate with the investigation department to bring resolution to matters, And so when the matter came to us, we came to the legal department. The director invited the lawyers, and we did research. We saw the lacuna. We saw what exactly was the problem. Okay, what the problem was at this issue was there's a law already. And then this law says if this man is able to present documents saying, I own these properties, he should be able to be released to the owner. But he has done that, but the sheriff has not done the release.
Yeah, that's because she did not understand her responsibilities. Oh.
Okay, so because the man has already presented the documents, we had to go back. We had to bring out the law, took it to them, show them what the law says. It's their own law, the Sheriff and Civil Process Act. They should know about it. Just I should know about the Public Complaints Commission Act.
Yes.
So we took it to them, explained it to them, showed them what was going on. And they had to go and consult their own judges too to get a confirmation. And good enough, the law is the law. The judge nodded to it and said, yes, they are right.
I really love that part. The law is the law. I really love that part. And then I could see that a whole lot of processes just to ensure that Mr. DJE gets
got
justice.
Yeah.
How did the commission engage with the judge and with the chief judge to ensure the error was corrected?
Okay.
And what was actually their response?
Usually, we do court visits.
Okay.
Because we know, of course, we're all lawyers. And my lord is my lord. So we do court visits. We visit the judges.
Okay.
We liaise with them. We seek, we talk to them.
Okay.
We discuss with them. Like I said, the law is the law. They know the law. We know the law. So we sit down and we discuss as lawyers. And, we bring out the issues on this administrative injustice case, because it's not a matter that is pending before a court of law. So we're not coming here to discuss with them what they should do with their cases in court. No, we're saying your staff is making an error of law. Okay? This judgment has been given, and the owner of this car has produced the documents to show that I own these vehicles.
Yes.
And so the sheriff is saying, no, I won't give you. So we just pointed out those things, and they saw the need, and they went ahead with it.
Okay. From this case, we know that there were recommendations from the Public Complaints Commission, right? There were some recommendations to ensure the compliance. So what's procedure or what follow-up action did the commission take to ensure that the recommendation they yielded to the recommendation?
Usually we do what we call the on-the-spot investigation, okay? So when we've done the normal processes, case conferences, case charts, and we've written correspondences, we do what we call the on-the-spot investigation. So as soon as we had that meeting, we had an edge. We had an approval, from a judge saying, you're right, they should do the right thing. And so we kept going to visits, doing constant communication, for them to have the vehicle released to the owner.
So that's not for the case actually. For the what's it called? The recommendation. There were some recommendations from the Public Complaints Commission. There were some recommendations, and then what were those follow-up action from PCC to ensure that they comply to these recommendations?
Like I said earlier, we did the on-the-spot investigation. We had actions done. But for the recommendations, what we simply did was to recommend that the courts, have their sheriffs trained to let them understand more of the law, to let them know what their law is all about. Because when they understand it, they will understand the execution of their law and know what to do. So
I'm sure Mr. DJE is not the first person to have this kind of case or have experienced something like this. What advice would you give to the public? Probably there's one of our listeners or some of our listeners out there who are like, oh God, something like this also has happened to me. I have the same experience. I don't know what to do. So what advice would you give to such individual facing administrative injustice, and how can they seek assistance from the commission?
All right. To every listener out there who's listening right now and hearing me, or who will hear you later,
Okay.
my advice would be, when you have any complaints at all, please look for the Office of the Public Complaints Commission in your state, because we have it in all 36 states of Nigeria, including the FCT. That makes it 37, right? And so we have not just head offices, we also have area offices. So like each state could have 2 more offices in local government areas, 5 more offices in different local government areas, so we're not difficult to find.
So they should
look for us, yes.
The office
for
closer
us,
to
yes,
them.
and then lodge your complaint. And your complaint will actually move from any state in Nigeria to the headquarters, or where the matter, arose from.
All right. Thank you very much. This was really an amazing section
Thank
for
you for
our
having me.
case one. We'll be going on a very short break. And after the break, we're going to dive into case two. I really like case two. There's something about case two. I'm sure you do not want to miss that. So just stay with us.
Ombudsman Radio. Justice for all.
Right, welcome back from that short break. So this is going to be our last case for today, and it's quite an interesting one. I can see Amaka is smiling. It's quite an interesting case. I'll read that now. 34 candidates from the Faculty of Law, University of Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, sent a representative to the commission to complain exclusion of their names from the list sent to the Nigerian Law School for admission. The complainants alleged that they graduated from the Faculty of Law, University of Uyo, and issued with LLB certificates with the next year's date. They claimed that they were eligible for the admission into the Nigerian Law School for that year, Part 2 admission, with the explanation from the Dean of the Faculty of Law that 150 quotation given to the Faculty of Law by the Nigerian Law School for that year's admission had been exceeded. The Dean, however, promised the inclusion of their names in the next available opportunity. They further alleged that following a call for admission into the Nigerian Law School for that year, in which they submitted all their necessary requirements, their names were still omitted. Hence, they solicited for intervention of the commission. Upon the receipt of the complaint, the commission took proactive steps by inviting the complainants. Upon the receipt of the complaint, the commission took proactive steps by inviting the complainants for a case chat and thereafter visited the Dean of the Faculty of Law for fair hearing. In the course of the discussion with the Dean, the commission discovered that the complainant had already forwarded the same complaint to the Vice Chancellor of the University of Uyo, Director Servicom, the National Human Rights Commission, Legal Aid Council, and the Council of Legal Education, and so much, and others. On the strength of this discovery, the commission advised the complainant to desist from writing the same complaints against the faculty and also ensure that they inform all the other institutes in which they had submitted the same complaints to stay action on the matter so as to enable the commission handle the case. The complainant promised to adhere to the commission's advice, and thereafter the commission made some recommendations to the university. I can just imagine if I was one of
the
that students. Sequel to the recommendation, the commission was informed through a telephone call from the lead complainant a year after, that all the names of the candidates had been forwarded to the Nigerian Law School for admission. This favorable news brought the case to a conclusive end. Like, I'm gonna cry. I'm really
don't.
going to cry.
I'm sure the students are very happy where they are.
Yes, they're happy, but then that's error. I wish I cry.
It's actually disheartening because the thing with law school is, if I'm a day your senior, I'm your senior. So if I'm a year your senior, I'm your senior. So they were working against time and had to, you know.
That's really sad. Can you provide an overview of the case, including the allegation made by the 34 candidates?
Okay, what happened here was we had a set of students or ex-students, graduates from University of Uyo who were denied their names on the list for candidates to go to law school. As lawyers, like I said, this case has to do with time. Because if they were not timers in running to the commission to seek out redress, they would probably lose a whole year.
A whole full.
Yes, they will lose a whole year, and when they lose that whole year, they become any other person from that university who goes before them, even if the person graduated after them or after them, becomes their senior at the bar.
Just like that.
Yes.
Wow.
So you can't help it. That's the law. Like I said, the law is the law. That's the law. So what happened was they ran to the commission and then they laid their complaints with the commission. And the commission immediately, because we knew how it was a time-bound thing, something that had to work time, we swung into action immediately. And we went to their school, met with the dean, and addressed the issue.
That's amazing. The whole process that the commission had to undergo just to ensure justice for these 34 candidates. What was the outcome of the case chat with the complainants and the fair hearing with the dean of the Faculty of Law? Because I know most of the cases, they're always case chat. So what
we have
was the
case
outcome?
chats, we have case conferences, but in this case, we had case chats with the complainants who brought the matter to us.
Exactly.
We interviewed them first to know what the matter was all about and to know what the allegation was against their school and their dean. And finding out that, we swung into action. We went to the school to have, like I said, on-the-spot investigation. We visited the dean to hear his own part of the story, to know what has transpired between him and his students. And the dean, a very nice man, welcomed us, received us, received the commission. We sat down, we discussed, we had our discussion, and he looked into it. He saw, okay, that it was an error on their part, not listing the students first before any other person. So they agreed to listen. And then when you talk about fair hearing, what we do in Public Complaints Commission, we don't just take the complaint and say the respondent is guilty. No, we take the complaint and we go out there to find out, to hear from the respondent. And that is fair hearing for me.
You hear from both sides. From both
sides of the story, of the parties, to know what their story is. So by the time they tell you their stories, you say, okay, we come in as the mediator. This is where the problem is. Can we all come together here and resolve this? That was what we did.
All right, amazing. How did the commission discover that the complainant had submitted the same complaints to multiple institutions?
That came up under...
Like, that was about 5 institutions I mentioned there.
Yeah, that came up under the interview with Case Chat.
And how was it addressed?
Okay, we told them to stop writing to anyone. Let every other organization they've written to know that Public Complaints Commission is handling the matter. For now, so that we don't do duplicity of handling issues. Okay, we know that the reason why they ran to all those places was to make sure that they don't lose their time. You can imagine, like you said, if it was you, what would you do?
Gonna cry.
Yeah, you're about to lose a whole year. What would you do? So they had to run to everywhere they could run to
look for help.
So, but when they got to the commission, we informed them that please stop. Tell them
commission took
that,
action
that
immediately.
that we're on it and we're working with it. So,
okay. So how did the university respond to the commission's recommendation? I'm sure they were, because I read recommendation. So how did they respond to the recommendation, and what were those recommendations?
Okay. Because of the peculiarity of the case, usually when we do matters. We resolve cases. For the ones that need recommendation, we give, and this was one of them. Because of the peculiar nature of that case, we recommended to the school, okay, that they should have they should place priority on backlogs, because these students were backlog students. The school informed us that they had only 150 quota space for going to law school every year. Okay, so they were more than 150. So
that's
they
really a big
couldn't.
problem.
It's a big problem. They couldn't do more than 150. So they sent the first 150, and these 34 were waiting. Okay, so when the next quota came, what they are supposed to do was to put in the 34 first then
before,
add whatever to make up the 150. Okay, so
exactly.
we recommended that for that purpose they should put the 34 first. Go let the backlogs go first before any other person is added to them. And then secondly, we told them that the dean of the Faculty of Law, seeing that they have more students than law school it requires, because if law school is looking for 150 students and you have 200 in your class, you already know that you've exceeded your quota.
Yes.
So they should try and see, if they can prepare a model for sending students to law school. Okay, according to that quota, they should prepare a model, and that model should be followed by every dean who is coming into the faculty, because it's succession.
Exactly.
Somebody will leave, somebody will come into office,
and would know
and then
what to do.
The third recommendation was telling them to liaise with law school to see if their quota can be increased, because that would be best for them anyway, and for everyone, for the students, for the school, if they're able to increase their quota.
Okay, and so what was the outcome for these candidates? What was the outcome for the candidates?
Okay, well, the candidates, I'm sure now, are all lawyers. They would have been called to Nigerian bar, because it was a case that happened about 2 or 3 years ago. So,
okay, that's really amazing. I'm sure if you're listening to us and you were among the 33 candidates, you could just drop a comment on our social media platform, and we would also respond. We'd love to see that. So what advice would you give to students or individuals who are facing similar challenges or exclusion? How can they really seek assistance from the commission?
Okay, the commission is open to the public. It's a public office, like the name says, Public Complaints Commission. So it's open to the public. And then for me, I don't think there's an age bracket that you say, somebody cannot come to the commission. If you are underaged, you could use your parents to lodge a complaint on your behalf.
Oh, really?
Yes. So you don't say, because I'm not an adult, I can't come to the commission. No. If you're underaged, if you're a student, you have an issue with your school, an issue with JAM, with WAEC, whatever it is, you can use your parents to lodge a complaint on your behalf. And the commission will look into it and will address it.
All right, that's amazing. You've heard, if you're in such situation, or someone who is in that situation, you already know where to lodge your complaint to seek justice. And the amazing part of this is that it is free of charge. Am I right?
Oh, yes. Completely free.
Completely
from beginning to end.
Free. Like you're not going to pay shishin. They will say it to my side. You're not going to pay anything. That's really amazing. For the sake of our time, we're just going to have the 2 cases for today. And then that's all we have for today's episode of Investigative Tidbits. We hope you found our discussion very insightful and informative. As I said, you have anyone who has similar problem, you could always come down to the Public Complaints Commission and then lodge your complaint, and you would get justice. All right, so the work of the Public Complaints Commission is crucial in ensuring justice and fairness for everyone. If you have any feedback or experience such, or you have suggestions for future episodes, please don't hesitate to reach us on all our social media platforms. On Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Ombudsman Radio Nigeria. On X at Public Complaints Commission Ombudsman Radio Nigeria. You can also reach us on our WhatsApp line 0707 331 4504. I repeat that, 0707 331 4504, or download Ombudsman app from Play Store. You can also listen to us using Zeno FM. You just search for Ombudsman Radio Abuja on Zeno FM. You would get us there. All right, join us next week as we dive into more interesting cases and we continue on our journey into the heart of justice. I remain Miracle Obi, your host for Investigative Tidbits. It's been a great pleasure having you, Amaka.
Thank you very much.
To the show, and you've really enlightened us, and
Thank
I think
you.
I want to go into the law.
Please do. There's more space.
Can I still go back to school and start
yes.
reading?
Dealing with complaints can be a real hassle, but it doesn't have to be. That's where the Public Complaints Commission comes in.
We're here to help you resolve any issues you may have with your business or organization. From handling customers' complaints to providing resolutions, we've got the tools and expertise to get the job done.
Don't just take our word for it. Contact us today at 097-000099 or visit our website at www.bcc.gov.ng to learn more about our services and how we can help you.
Public Complaints Commission, justice for all.